So this unboxing is a pair of books that I received. And, you know, I didn't receive any kind of a note. So I'm not even sure who it's from. But it's like this little pair of spare books, very like graphic designy. One of them is just in English and one of them is also in Spanish, but it is the same story. My Uncle is Coming Tomorrow by Sebastián Santana Camargo. And it is from Greystone Kids. And it's, you know, it's small. Like, let me put my hand up. It's just like this small book. It's like quiet, you know what I mean? Because it's just very like minimalist. But in that minimalism, it's very kind of appealing and interesting. And even though it looks kind of like a stick figure, I think just because it's so minimalist, you're kind of like, oh, what is going on? So let's see. It almost looks like he's sitting on the toilet, but it's probably a stool. So it's this kind of spare black and white. My Uncle is Coming Tomorrow. And it's like, yeah, it's very, you know, restrained. My father and mother told me that my uncle was coming tomorrow to stay with us for a few days. So it's just the story. It's almost like a story about nothing, you know? Like the uncle is coming. Oh. But it looks really cheerful. But this book is for those who, because of forced disappearances, were never able to come. So that is particularly relevant now with, you know, the situation in the Ukraine, but also just in general, you know, all over the world, I think, especially in countries where there's, you know, a dictator. People are disappearing. Actually, my dentist is from Venezuela, and most of her entire family has immigrated to the United States. But her father, who is their father's a firefighter, he just, you know, didn't want to leave because he's, you know, elderly and that's his home. And her parents are divorced, and her father remarried, and then one of the stepchildren was, you know, a revolutionary activist in Venezuela. And so he was, you know, they were like trying to find him to arrest him. And so as part of that, they arrested her father, even though he's the stepfather, because, you know what I mean? Like that's what they do. And he was in jail for like a while, like more than a year or two. And for no reason, just because they were trying to flush out the stepson. And I don't know what happened to the stepson, to be honest. Her father eventually got out because I think more community support in Venezuela, because he's literally a fireman and all he does is save lives. And they're kind of like, you know, he's done nothing wrong and he's just like a hero. But it was really stressful, obviously, for my friend, particularly because her father had some medical, you know, issues and needed medication. And, you know, just trying to get medication to Venezuela, even if you're not in jail, is hard enough because there's just like no medicine. There's a lot of basic needs or items that are just like impossible to get. So anyway, so I think that's so interesting because it looks like this minimalist graphic story and looks cheerful, but actually really punches you know, it really has a powerful story and impact about people who are, you know, basically disappeared and never found, or found and, you know, they've been killed. So thank you so much to Greystone Kids for, you know, honestly making a book. It's pretty brave to make this kind of book for children and also for sending it to me.